I'm going to show you how to replace the front strut assemblies on this Ram 1500. If you need parts for your vehicle, you can get those at 1AAuto.com. Let's get started. We're going to remove the wheel, use a 22mm socket, take the lug nuts off. And pull the wheel off. We're going to take the top nut off the sway bar link. Use a 15mm wrench. Put that on the link down below. Then use a 16mm socket. Take this off. There we go. And then you want to do the same on the other side. Using some side cutters, we'll take the cotter pin off. And slide that out. You want to throw that out, get a new one. Using a 21mm socket, take the nut off. You can try using a punch underneath the tie rod, give it a tap, or use some front end tools. Also, just giving it a tap right here. Just get it to separate. There we go, set that aside. Disconnect the ABS wire here, just use a trim tool. Disconnect the connector. There's a little lock tab right here. You want to push up on that. You can use a pick or the tool to just push it up. Push down, disconnect the connector. And the retainers, just pop those out right there. Sometimes they break. And then disconnect it right here, just so you don't put any tension on the ABS wire. We're going to take this nut off, use a 21mm socket. And just take this nut, just put it a couple turns at the base, and we're going to pop that free from the knuckle. If you have a special front end tool, you can use that, or just use a hammer and just give it a tap. That's loose now. Pull this down, pull the nut off, slide this off, and just slide this to the side. Just be careful of the brake hose. You don't want to put any tension on it, so make sure you twist it that way. Now I'm going to use a 21mm socket on the bolt. You could use a wrench if you want to, just to hold that from spinning. Then a 24mm socket to take the nut off. Take that nut off. Just pop this bolt out. Just in case, you might want to support underneath the control arm in case it drops down. When you take this bolt out, just use a punch. Now we're going to take these nuts off up top. I'm going to use a 15mm wrench. Loosen those up. And just using a pry bar, just going to pry the control arm down, pull the strut assembly out. Watch out for the CV boot and just be careful of the brake hose. And it slides right out. Slide the strut up in place. Get the studs close. And take one of the nuts and get those started up top. Get the other one on, but we're not going to tighten those down yet. Underneath the control arm, I'm just going to use a transmission jack. You can use a floor jack. Just raise up to get the strut lined up. Now take the bolt, get that lined up, slide that in, put the nut on. And just raise up on the suspension to roughly where it should be. Snug that down. Now we're going to torque this bolt to 125 foot-pounds. Get the ball joint in place, line that up. Just use a pry bar. And get the nuts started. Tighten that down. Now we're going to torque this to 40 foot-pounds. And if you have a torque angle meter, you can use that and go an additional 200 degrees. If not, do the best you can. Taking a 15mm socket, we'll tighten the nuts down at the top. Now we'll torque these to 40 foot-pounds. Now we're going to lower the jack, slide that out of the way. Take the tie rod in, slide that into the knuckle. Take the castle nut, put that on, get that started. I'm just going to use a pry bar, pry down while I tighten up the nut. You want to torque this nut to 29 foot-pounds. And then you want to go an additional 90 degrees. If you have a torque angle meter, use that. If not, do the best you can. Then you want to take the new cotter pin, line up the hole. If it's not lined up, you want to just tighten the nut a little bit more until it does line up. You never want to loosen it. There we go. Slide that in. Using some side cutters, you want to bend the end. Bend that over, and then just trim the excess. Take the ABS wire, or wheel speed sensor wire, reposition that. I'm just going to use a new retainer right here. Slide that in place. Secure that down. Connect the connector. Push down the lock and push that retainer in. Put the bushing on, and the washer, then the upper nut. And tighten the top nut. And torque that to 16 foot-pounds. It's good. Now put the wheel on. lug nuts started. Snug those down. Now we're going to torque the lug nuts to 130 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. After finishing this installation, it's important to have an alignment done on your vehicle. Well, I hope this video helped you out, and if you need parts for your vehicle, make sure you get those at 1aauto.com, and you can watch all those repair videos to help you with your installs. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our videos.